Okay, guys, now we're going to talk about how to get your voice, your message, your purpose, your mission into the world in an ongoing fashion. So this video isn't on like, here's how to land one podcast and hopefully it goes well. The strategy here that I'm going to share with you is a strategy that works really, really well for myself, for my clients, for a lot of people. And it's how to build a machine for getting your message out there. In this video specifically, we're going to talk about podcasts. Now, not all podcasts are created equal. Some podcasts have tons and millions of downloads. Some podcasts have never had a download. And you want to be doing podcasts for ideally as close to the ones that have gotten cajillions of downloads as possible. And that being said, those aren't the only podcasts to focus on. What I want to talk about right now are 3 reasons that you should be doing podcasts that don't necessarily pertain to landing speaking gigs and getting a book deal and stuff like that. Those 3 are, number 1, practice. Now that you've got your core talk done, you want to practice it as much as possible in front of audiences. Now, I don't mean you standing on a 3-foot high stage or more and standing in front of 100 people live. You can practice that core talk in a myriad of ways. One of those ways is a podcast. And if you went through the section on how to build out your talk, then you know that your talk is made up of a compilation of stories. Now, you're not going to get on a podcast and do your entire talk. That just wouldn't make sense. But what would make sense is that when the podcast owner, the person who's interviewing you, asks you certain questions, you pull out certain stories from your talk and you practice those on the podcast host. And the way that you're going to receive feedback is from the podcast hosts themselves, and you're going to have this added level of tension, or I don't want to say anxiety, but this added level of pressure that comes from the fact that, 10 or 100 or 1,000 or 10,000 or 100,000 or a million people might hear what you're saying. So you practicing on that podcast or in front of a soon to be virtual audience adds a whole nother level of pressure and complexity, which helps you to practice under pressure. So number 1 is practice. Number 2 reason to do podcasts is it contributes to your ongoing content release strategy. Okay, so what we want when you get out there and you start landing paid speaking gigs and book deals and press and more podcasts, what we want is for your perceived value online to be through the roof. What I mean by that is, let's say you reached out to me, let's say I'm a podcast host or someone who writes for the press. You reach out to me saying, hey, I'd love to be on your podcast, or I'd love for you to do an article on me, kind of thing. The first thing I'm going to do is look up, okay, is this person legit? Like, what are they up to? I'm going to look at your Instagram. I personally won't look at your LinkedIn because I don't like LinkedIn, but some people will look at your LinkedIn. They'll look at your Facebook, they'll look at your website. And what they're doing is they're trying to gather as many data points as possible in a short amount of time as possible to know if you are someone who's worth having on my podcast or featuring you in press. And if I go online and I see tons of content getting released over and over and over again, oh, here's Johnny on a podcast. And oh, here's Johnny getting featured in here. Oh, here's Johnny doing another talk. Oh, here's Johnny doing a video on Instagram on his purpose. And here he is doing a Facebook Live on his mission, or whatever it is. The perceived value of you goes up, right? Because we want the perception of you to be that you're active, that you're out there, you're spreading your purpose, not that you're at the very beginning of your journey, you've never done anything, and you're just hoping to land your first podcast. Does that make sense? So reason number 2 for doing podcasts is so that they can contribute to this ongoing perception of you being out there doing things actively. And a ninja hack with that is when you do the podcast, sometimes podcasts are recorded strictly audio, sometimes they're done video. Right now, during the time that we're in our world, people aren't getting together as much as they used to get together, so they're not doing video as much. So my suggestion is that when you do the podcast, you video yourself doing the podcast. Okay, you put it from like a 45-degree angle from your side, and so you can tell that you're talking. And then what you can use that footage for is that ongoing content machine. You can take, the host might ask you a question like, so what is it that brought you to your purpose? And then you answer that question, and you can cut that into like a 45-second cut, put it on your Instagram, put it on your Facebook, put it on your TikTok, put it all over the place, which contributes to the perceived value of you online. And that's reason number 2 for doing podcasts. And reason number 3 for doing podcasts, my personal favorite, is that you can translate them to revenue. Here's what I mean, is that when you know what it is that you sell, which for example, let's say you're a coach and you sell coaching, or you're some sort of a consultant and you sell $3,000 packages to help people lose 10 pounds or find the love of their life or whatever it might be, okay, or coach or a consultant. When you know what you sell and you know who you sell it to, meaning if it's people that are trying to find the love of their life, you sell your package then to people that are single and don't have the love of their life. So you know who the people are that you sell it to, and you know how you sell it, meaning the sales process that you bring people through for them to actually buy something. Whole section on this, and it's gonna make way more sense in that section. But for now, when you know what it is you sell, you know who you sell it to, and you know how you sell it, then exposure, like press, podcasts, books, speaking, all of those things start to make way more sense and are in alignment with what your goals might be, which could be making $10,000 a month or making $30,000 a month or making $1 jillion a month, whatever it might be. And that is the third reason for doing podcasts, is it gives you exposure and brings in clients. I can't even express how many emails I've gotten and Facebook messages and Instagram DMs I've gotten from people saying, hey, I listened to that podcast you were on, and it could be like a year ago. I'm really interested in what you're doing. How do I learn more, right? And again, when you know what you sell and who you sell it to and how you sell it, then you can translate, you can convert that inquiry, gentle, casual, random message into revenue. Because when that message comes in, you know what you sell, you go, oh, you reply back to the person, great, I'd love to teach you more. Did you want to land a TED Talk? Is that where you want to go? And they say, yeah, I do. Perfect. Let's get you on a sales call. And then you enroll them in your program and you convert it into revenue. So number 3 reason for doing podcasts, my favorite, is it converts to revenue. Hey, I hope you liked that training, and if you did like it, please click the subscribe button, hit the like, hit the comments, and if you want more information, down below I've got a free training on exactly the step-by-step process to landing a TEDx talk, making $10,000 a month from your purpose, and living your purpose full time. Click the link below for that free training, and I'll see you in the next video.